I'm doing a live, more oracle readings. I figure let's have fun. Let's have fun. And so I'm going to share this live. And if you guys come on, please share this live. Hopefully, we will have more people. Hopefully, we will have more people. All right, cool. So we're gonna do some oracle reading and some discussion, Q&A. We're gonna be working with mantras to control your monkey mind. And I'm waiting for 9 people to come on. That's usually the number I start with, 9 people. And then we'll go into mantras, oracle reading, and so on. Okay? So waiting for 9 people to get on. So let me see, where are we at now? So this should be good. All right. Let me see if we can actually get 9 people before we start, because I really don't want to repeat myself. All right. So if you can share the live, if you're on this. Aham prema, aham prema, aham prema. The reason we talk about mantras is Sanskrit is a mathematical language. There's a lot of incredible data. NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory uses mantras, Sanskrit to code AI. So once we get 9 people, we'll start. It's late enough so we can do that. I will teach you an abundance chant that really, really helps. It's a real powerful chant. It's a very simple chant. And so if you're interested in getting us, okay, looks like we got 10. Okay, so there's a chant that's very powerful. There are 2 different chants for money, okay? Both of them are in regards to connecting with Lakshmi, okay? One is Om Shrim Rim Klim Lakshmi Swaha. Now, we don't know why it works, okay? But we know it works. And I can tell you that my son or I, when I do like, say, 3-4 minutes in the shower, which is about more than 108 times, the water, Dr. Emoto's water study, hopefully you guys know who that is. Dr. Emoto studied water and studied the energy of water and realized that when people yelled at water or had rap music or rock and roll, acid rock, he would put the water under a microscope after it was frozen and it would look like shards of glass. When classical music, when loving words were said to the water, I kid you not, the water was then frozen, or it was frozen, and would come out in these beautiful, like snowflake, sacred geometry. So water is a generator. Water transmutes energy and expands the energy you're at, okay? So water is an incredible conduit, especially when you're looking to do a chant, a love chant, or a money chant. So Om Shrim Rim Klim Lakshmi Swaha. Another one is Om Shrim Rim, Shrim, Kamalaye, Kamalaye, Prashid, Prashid, Shrim, Rim, Shrim, Mahalakshmiye, Namaha. So these chants that I'm talking about, you can actually look them up on the internet. They're kind of long for me to type it out, so I'm not going to. But Om Shrim Rim Klim Lakshmi Swaha 108 times, and you will have fucking money just coming out of nowhere. I've been doing this for years, and when my energy is low and I'm not in the right mind space, to be honest with you, it still works. But when my energy is low, I won't do it, right? And then when I'm realizing, oh shit, I need money, I'll go ahead and start chanting Om Shrim Rim Klim Lakshmi Swaha. And what's interesting is you can actually chant it for other people. I mean, obviously ask them, can I chant for you? And you can actually help people you love increase their finances. I'm not joking. It works like, I don't know. It works like a miracle, okay? Any questions or comments? Okay, so another one is, if you want, I can teach you the 7 names of God, and it's an incredible poem, song written by Meher Baba, who was an amazing Persian who came from India to bring various Hindu philosophies to America, namely California. And he wrote the 7 names of God. And this is an interesting chant, because it actually will calm your nervous system like you wouldn't believe. And if you actually chant it to your chakras, it will actually infuse your chakras with power. So it goes something like this: Hari Paratma Ahala Haurma Zadgad Yasdanhu. Hari Paratman Ahala Haurma Zadgad Yasdanhu. So that's you can look it up. 7 names of God. Mer Baba, put just Baba, okay? He's the guy who came up with Don't Worry, Be Happy, and it became viral famous in the 80s by this incredible singer. I forgot his name right now. It escapes me. If you want to chant for love, the chant for love, there's 2 different chants that are directly to attract love. One is Radha Krishnaye, and I'll give it to you in a minute. And one, I actually have it on my profile page. You can look it up. So it's for love, Om and salutation to that single being of love manifesting as the lovers Radha and Krishna. This is the divine twin rays, okay? So it goes like this. Om Radha Krishnaye Namaha. Om Radha Krishnaye Namaha. Om Radha Krishnaye Namaha. Now the one to attract love, which is on my profile page, you can check it out. It's Om and salutations to the supreme divine love coming in a recognizable form. So love could come to you as a lover. It could come to you as a boon, a friend, or whatever. So let me chant that. So this one goes, Om Parama Prima Rupaye Namaha. Om Parama Prima Rupaye Namaha. Om Parama Prima Rupaye Namaha. It's pretty cool. We did a guided meditation on inner child healing where we use Ahom Prema, I am divine love. And if you did Ahom Prema to your chakras, again, going back to your chakras, you would actually get massive, massive benefit. It would clear your chakras, and it would not just clear them and clean them, but charge them. I am divine love. Ahom Prema. So if you look up my inner child guided meditation, again, on my profile page, you can actually do that work. And I think you'll get a lot of benefits, not to mention you'll learn the chant. Any questions on mantras and why they work? Any questions at all? Do you have any questions whatsoever? Because I want it to be a dialogue going back and forth. So today in the morning, we did a whole oracle/tarot reading for the runner. Okay, so if you want to look at that, it's going to be on my YouTube page. I'm going to upload it. I think I might have uploaded already, but if I haven't, I'll upload it tonight. I actually, sometimes, I think I'm uploading it, and then I look up, and it has not been uploaded for whatever reason, so I have to almost babysit it to upload. But I'm pretty sure it's up, and if it's not, I'll let you know. Hang on for a quick second. And you may want to look at that live, because we did some incredible, the real amazing messages that may benefit you in some aspect, okay? Of course, if it's not your story, please don't make it fit. That goes without saying. Yeah, it didn't actually upload, so I'm going to go ahead and upload that. And then we're going to be doing some, how many times do you need to chant for it to work? 108 times per day, minimum. 108 times per day, or else if you just, I've actually had clients literally do it twice thinking that something was going to happen. Which is kind of, no, that's not how it works. You have to do it 108 times per day, and then it works. So for the Lakshmi chant, it's if you want to do it for money and you're having a really bad time with, say, you're unemployed, shit is hard, whatever, you need to do it 108 times for 45 days, okay? And then it's going to give you the boon of money. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? Any questions on how that works? Because the thing about mantras and Sanskrit, the fact that NASA Jet Propulsion Laboratory uses it to code AI because it's the most exact language. It's the most exact. And the language, ancient Sanskrit is like 7, depending on who you speak to, 7,000 years old, 10,000 years old, back to the Vedas. So if I were you, I would pay attention to that. because we use it in my family. We use it all the time. When I tell people to use it, they come back to me in shock that it's working, in absolute shock. Now, the interesting thing about Sanskrit and mantras using Sanskrit, right, is that it will cover everything. It will cover divine compassion. It will cover ill health. It will cover making friends. It will cover all kinds of things that you can't even, it will even cover making you more beautiful. I'm not joking. Being more attractive to a beloved, or attracting new beloveds. Okay? So that's pretty insane, right? I mean, so one of the most famous mantras, Gayatri Mantra, Gayatri Mantra is the mantras of all mantras. And typically when you do a guided meditation or what have you, typically, okay, you'll do a Gayatri Mantra to open sacred circle, okay? Some comments in this live were filled. It's fucking amazing, people. Can you spell the name of the meditation, or is it anywhere? Lakshmi. Lakshmi. It's called Lakshmi. So Lakshmi, this is what you'd be looking for, and you can look up some mantras. I may do a video just on the Lakshmi mantra, and then I believe it works. It has worked for me. Absolutely. It totally works. Okay? It totally freaking works. There's a story of Thomas Ashley Farron, who had just graduated from college. He'd been to India, blah, 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 and he was a Sanskrit scholar, but at the time he was a young guy, and he was trying to find a job in his media, in his training. And what happened was he kept chanting this Lakshmi mantra, and he got an offer for a company, and he really was in dire straits, so he took it. And within 2 weeks, they promoted him, and suddenly, because he was in PR, suddenly he was handling their PR, and his salary, I think, tripled, either doubled or tripled. And he said that when opportunities come to you, do not second guess it. Do not turn your nose up to it. You never know what's behind that opportunity that will get you from this bridging to the next bridge to the next explosive success. So I've been using this mantra for like decades, and the only thing that will fuck you up in attracting money and manifesting changes that you want is if you're massively depressed, if somebody you love died, or someone you loved betrayed you. That will fuck you up like nothing, okay? And the thing is that even if that happens, I really counsel you to keep doing this kind of work, because it will help you float. You may, instead of drowning. So it may not bring you all of the particulars that you need, right, for the kind of manifestation that you want, but it's going to give you a fighting chance. Okay, so I'm going to read to you, because you have to understand the mechanics of manifestation. Okay, and then we'll do an oracle card. We'll see what the hell is is happening with that. But let's do this, because it looks like some people need it. I can definitely attest to that. I get you. So the book is called Mind Power into the 21st Century by John Kehoe. And I've had this book since I was, how old was I? Yeah, I think I was 39 when I first got this book. And so I'm going to read it to you, because you need to understand how emotions will fuck you up. So you saying, I'm going to win the lotto. By the way, when people say, well, I win the lotto, to me, no offense, okay? I'm not trying to offend anyone, because people are struggling right now with grocery bills and and all kinds of bullshit's going on. But when you say, well, I win the lotto, you've just hamstrung the universe. You do not visualize winning the lotto. You visualize having the money you want. It's not so much the lotto you want to win. You don't give a shit how the money comes, as long as no one's harmed. No one at all is harmed, right? I mean, am I correct? So to say, to constantly think about the money coming from the lotto and winning the lotto will actually block all channels of success, because maybe in this incarnation it's not your path to win the lotto, but your path is to win money, or earn money, or get I'll give you a great story. So George Harrison, who was one of the Beatles, was friends. You know, he'd gone to India and he was learning all of this stuff. He brought a sitar back into the States, and their albums started changing with a little sitar music and things of that nature. Anyway, he made friends with this devotee of Ishkan, and they were really good friends, and the guy was poor, and it didn't matter to him because the guy had chosen this kind of devotional as a brahmachari, which is like a monk almost. Okay, it's like, it is like a monk. And when he died, he gave that guy $7 million. My point is, you never know where the money's going to come from, okay? So you can't just try to control everything, all right? So let me read to you from Mind Power into the 21st Century, Chapter 1, Another View of Reality. There are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamed of by mere mortal men. Shakespeare. To work with mind power, you do not have to understand the laws of physics or how reality manifests itself, just as you don't have to understand how a carburetor works or how spark plugs fire in order to drive a car. Few of us understand automotive mechanics, but that doesn't stop us from driving. Likewise, in the science of mind power, anyone can quickly and successfully master the basics and effectively put them to work in his or her life. We begin by examining the nature of reality, especially the startling new discoveries in science over the last 20 years, which has helped us understand more clearly how the mind creates its own reality. These discoveries explains why creating visualizations in our mind is not just idle daydreaming, but is a creative process which helps us control and direct the same energies that hold matter together, change water into steam, or cause a seed to sprout and grow. Understanding the nature of these energies assists us in understanding the mind and shows us why inspiration, prayer, and intuition are not supernatural phenomena at all, but follow patterns and laws, which we can discover and use at our will. Like everything else in the known universe, the powers of the mind are governed by laws, which, robbed of their scientific jargon and clearly presented, can be easily understood by anyone. Let me take you on a short adventure into the new discoveries. Modern physics now sees the universe as a vast, inseparable web of dynamic activities. Not only is the universe alive and constantly changing, but everything in the universe affects everything else. At its most primary level, the universe seems to be whole and undifferentiated, a fathomless sea of energy that permeates every object and every act. It is all one. It is all one. In short, scientists now are discovering and confirming what mystics, seers, and occultists have been telling us for thousands of years. We are not separated but part of one giant whole. When a blade of grass is cut, the whole universe quivers. Ancient Upanishad saying. Modern physics has changed our concept of the material world. Particles are no longer seen as consistent of any basic stuff. Rather, they are seen as bundles of energy. They may make sudden transitions, quantum leaps, behaving at times like units. Yet on other occasions, like waves of pure energy, reality is fluid. Nothing is fixed. Everything is part of a pattern that is in constant motion. Even a rock is a dance of energy. The universe is dynamic and alive, and we are in it and of it, dynamic and alive ourselves. The universe is a giant hologram. The theories that enabled the development of the hologram were first published in 1947 by Dennis Garber, who later won a Nobel Prize for his discovery. A hologram is an entity in which the whole is contained in each and every one of its parts. For example, a starfish exhibits certain holographic patterns. If you cut a point from a starfish, it will grow a new point. Not only that, the point will grow a whole new starfish because the genetic imprint is contained in each and every one of its parts. I was at a holographic expedition several years ago in which I saw an exhibit of photographs done with holography. In one of the pictures was an image of a woman standing right Standing up, right. If I moved to the right of the picture, the woman changed suddenly, and she was now smoking a cigarette. If I moved to the left of the picture, it changed again, and she had her hip thrown out in a suggestive pose. If one were to drop this holographic plate onto the floor and it shattered into pieces, each piece would reveal not what you would expect to see, a piece of her shoe or dress or maybe her eye, but the image of the whole woman. And if one moved in any one of the little pieces from side to side, you would still see her smoke that cigarette and throw at her hip. Every single one of the small pieces would have the whole picture contained within it. It now appears that the nature of reality is holographic, and that the brain operates holographically as well. Our thinking process seems to be identical to the primary state of the universe and made up all of the same stuff. The brain is a hologram interpreting the holographic universe. The main architects of this outstanding idea were two of the world's most eminent thinkers, University of London physicist David Bohm, a protege of Einstein and one of the world's most respected quantum physicists, and Carl Pribram, a neurophysiologist at Stanford University. Coincidentally, they arrived at their findings independently of each other while working in totally separate fields of science. Bohm became convinced of the universe's holographic nature after years of frustration with the inability of more standard theories to explain all of the phenomena and results he was encountering in quantum physics. Pribram, in studying the human brain, also realized that standard theories explanation of various neurophysiological puzzles simply didn't add up. For both men, the holographic model suddenly made sense and resolved a lot of unanswered questions. Both published their findings in the early 70s. Their work received enormous response, but unfortunately, little of it was understood outside of the scientific community. While they had their detractors and skeptics, what new theory doesn't, many of the world's most prominent physicists and scientists soon came on board. Cambridge's Brian Josephson, winner of the 1973 Nobel Prize in Physics, described Bohm and Pribram's discoveries as involving the most revolutionary breakthrough in understanding the nature of reality. Dr. David Peat, a physicist at Queen's University in Canada and author of the book The Bridge Between Matter and Mind, was another to agree. Our thought processes are much more intimately connected to the physical world than any of us would suspect. In 1979, at Princeton University, Robert G. Jayne, Dean of the School of Engineering Applied Science, established a research program to establish and explore the role of consciousness in the establishment of physical reality. Did you get this? Do you understand? So when we I'm going to call you New Agers for a minute, but then I'm going to go back to ancient wisdoms. When we understand that what we think literally creates our reality. Now, this was, as you can see, groundbreaking concepts, right? So if you're constantly thinking and letting your monkey mind slay you with negative thoughts, do you now understand why I tell all my clients, why I tell you every time, chant a mantra? How many times? I don't give a shit until your mind stops saying this negative shit that is spiraling you out into, the abyss. Okay? After thousands of controlled experiments, Jan and his associates published their findings stating that there was now sufficient evidence to indicate unequivocally that the mind can and does directly affect physical reality. By 1994, eminent scientists, educators, and physicians from around the world were meeting at Princeton University to discuss how this startling new information might be extended and applied within their own fields and institutions. All this is truly exciting news, and the implications are nothing less than staggering when one considers how we might use this new knowledge. Project a new reality, right on. How consciousness and the physical world interact is now much less of a mystery. Consciousness is but energy in its finest and most dynamic form. This helps explain why events are affected by what we imagine, visualize, desire, want, or fear, and why and how an image held in the mind can be made real. Do you understand? Sex magic is part of that. Having the right sexual fantasies, using that energy for that, to create something that is going to help you, heal you, love you, embrace you. Any negative thought that is going in your mind is fucking your reality. Period. End of story. And this is why you have to understand why you need to learn mantras, why you need to chant mantras, not affirmations. And most people don't even know how to do a good affirmation. You know what I hear people saying? I'm not afraid. Hello? The human mind doesn't hear not, it hears afraid. This is known. What you say is, I'm fearless, I love life, I'm excited every day, abundance comes to me every day. But to be honest, I'm not impressed. Because here are some mantras written by these amazing, powerful, Vedic monks, we're going to say 10,000 years ago, who created these mantras to help control the monkey mind for these long-ass meditations. Now, let me bring you back to something. Most of you who are here right now have seen these Tibetan monks, have you not? Who go into the snows of the Himalayas, right? And they will be doused in water, and then a wet wool blanket will be placed on their shoulders, and they will start chanting, and they will start meditating, and suddenly the blankets are dry as fuck. They're steaming heat. In fact, they're warm in the middle of the snow. So if you have never seen that, I urge you to see that. Okay? Okay. Now let me continue. How consciousness and the physical world interact is now much less of a mystery. Consciousness is but energy in its finest and most dynamic form. This helps explain why events are affected by what we imagine, visualize, desire, want, or fear, and why and how an image held in the mind can be made real. These discoveries about the nature of reality can be major force for our continued change and growth. If we know and understand that we are part of an open and dynamic universe, and that our minds play a decisive part in constructing reality, then we choose to live more creatively and powerfully. We need no longer stand on the sidelines watching things happen to us. For with our new understanding, we now realize that there are no sidelines to stand on, nor were there ever. Everything is affecting everything else. Wherever we go, whatever we do, our thoughts are creating our reality. Discovering a new theory, Einstein once said, is like climbing a mountain, gaining new and wider views. This is what you are doing by reading this book. And soon, your mental climb will be rewarded by an open and exhilarating view of your true potential. Any questions or comments? Thank you for the gift. Thank you. Any questions or comments? Did you know that there were books that were... Did you know this was happening about the consciousness? That there were scientists, physicists, neurologists. And then here came Joe Dispenza working with neurologists on how meditation was showing, and he could show the change in the brain through, the graphing, because he puts probes on the head and they see the graph. In fact, he says, I can tell when they're about to pop, meaning when you go into a state of absolute surrender and bliss. Okay? So if you really want to learn how to control and you better learn, because it is not an easy path. It's just not. Okay? I've been doing this for decades, and I think that if I had not been doing it, I'm just going to give you an example. I've had 3 deaths in 4 years. And if I had not been doing these practices, I would be a fucking basket case. Okay? And all right? So there's power here. And what you end up doing is you end up becoming transcendental. This is the kind of work that you do to open your third eye. Does that make sense? Okay. Shall I read some more? Because we got chapter 2. So think as if your every thought were to be etched in fire upon the sky for all and everything to see, for so in truth it is. Book of Merdad. Okay. So this is 2, consciousness. If you think your thoughts as a reality existing side by side with what we call the physical reality, you will be closer to understanding the unique relationship between the two. I'm going to stop right here. Most 3D minds only believe in what they see. And they'll say this shit. They'll say, well, you know, if I can't see it, I won't believe it. This is not going to be seen. This is energy that you cannot see. However, if you work with your energy correctly, with good consciousness, you'll be able to see the results in a week, in a month, in a year. Whenever your karmic plan, you know, because when you set up your plan, will say, yes, release this information, or release this beloved, or release this abundance. Now they're ready. They've done the work, and they know what to do. Does that make sense? Okay? If you are living simultaneously in two worlds, two realities, the inner reality of your thoughts, emotions, and attitude, and the outer reality of people, places, things, and events, because we fail to separate these inner and outer worlds, we allow ourselves to become dominated by the outer world of appearances, and we use the inner world solely as a mirror for whatever happens to us. Did you hear that? Should I say it again? Because you see, something told me to do a live. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do. Okay? I never am, by the way. But with what's happening in our political, in the world, and all of that, all of this, and it's fucked, okay? It's all fucked up, okay? Our leaders are fucked. It's fucked. So if we know this, then we need the medicine. And if we want to live a better life, if we want to believe in 5D and crossing to the new earth, we have to use the scientific knowledge. Does that make sense? This is where I'm coming from when I'm reading these pages to you. Okay? All right. So I'm going to read it again because I want to slow down so you can really, savor the nectar. You are living simultaneously in two worlds, two realities, the inner reality of your thoughts, emotions, and attitudes, and the outer reality of people, places, things, and events. Because we fail to separate these inner and outer worlds, we allow ourselves to become dominated by the outer world of appearances, and we use the inner world solely as a mirror for whatever happens to us. Okay, what does that mean? It means you cannot allow anything outside of you to impact your kumbaya going within to create the new earth. You have to believe that you are going into 5D. You in fact, believe it, taste it, smell it. How does it feel? How does it look? How does it smell? What are you listening to? Every aspect, every cell of your body has to be transported out of the, no offense, fuckery into the new earth. Just saying. Our inner world reacts constantly, and because we spend all of our time simply reacting, we never experience our power. Ironically, you begin changing your reality the day, the hour, the minute you cease constantly reacting to it. Note to self, it's for me. Your inner consciousness is a powerful force whose influence is felt in every aspect of your life. It is, in fact, the major and most important part of who you are, and it is the main cause of your success or failure. Everything at its purest and deepest essence is energy, and whenever you think, you are working with an immense amount of this energy in the quick, light, mobile form of thought. Thought is forever attempting to find form, is always looking for an outlet, is always trying to manifest itself. It is the nature of thought to try and materialize into its physical equivalent. Our normal thoughts can be compared to sparks from a fire. Though they contain the essence and potential power of the flame, they normally dissipate quickly. They last only a few seconds, fly in the air, and quickly burn out. Although a single unaided thought hasn't much power, through repetition, did you hear that? Through repetition, the thought can become concentrated and directed, and its force can be magnified many, many times. The more the thought is repeated, the more energy and power it generates, and the more readily it is able to manifest itself. Weak and scattered thoughts are weak and scattered thoughts. Strong and concentrated thoughts are strong and concentrated thoughts. So as we face because we're about to face some shit, right? As we face what we see with our two human eyes, our 3D eyes, filtered through a 3D brain that is dogmatic, that has been trained to think limited thoughts, very limited, fear-filled, powerless by design. When you change that and you use a mantra to control your monkey mind, to train your monkey mind to shut the hell up, then what will happen is your soul will now stand in its full power to take control of the wheel of the car. So that the direction won't be pell-mell into the abyss, but into the new earth, for example, to what you want to experience in this incarnation. Okay? Okay. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you for all the love. To illustrate this, picture a magnifying glass through which the sun rays pass. If the magnifying glass is moved about from spot to spot, oh, this is an incredible analogy. I'm going to say it again. To illustrate this, picture a magnifying glass through which the sun's rays pass. If the magnifying glass is moved about from spot to spot, the power of the sun's rays is diffused and not apparent. If, however, the magnifying glass is held still and focus correctly on the proper height, those same rays become concentrated, and that diffused light suddenly becomes a force powerful enough to ignite a fire. You can change the world with your thoughts. You can actually move out of a feeling of despair and powerlessness, and if you train, and by the way, it's a lesson for me as well, because I'm revisiting this book, is we can change the world, literally. And if we all do it, if we all teach others to do it, if we teach our children to do it, our grandpa and grandmas to do it, everyone is on board. And we only need 1%, by the way, on the side note. We only need 1%. It's the 1% that have controlled us for eons, and we only need 1% to change it. Isn't that wild? Okay, let's continue. So it is with our thoughts, as you progress in your study of mind power, you will learn how to develop and concentrate your thoughts so that they become much more powerful. At this point, just realize that thoughts have power in themselves. Thoughts have power in themselves. Your deeply held beliefs, your fears, your hopes, your worries, your attitudes, your desires, and each and every thought you think all have an effect on you, others, and your environment. Most of us go through our waking hours taking little notice of our thoughts, processes, how the mind moves, what it fears, what it heeds, what it says to itself, what it brushes aside. For the most part, we eat, work, converse, worry, hope, plan, make love, shop, play, all with minimal attentions paid to how we think. This is why many of you will not sit in meditation. Why? Because you'll sit there going, well, my mind. That's right. Watch your mind. Let it skip. It's like a monkey going from a branch to another, and it's chaotic. You're supposed to sit and watch your mind. You're supposed to analyze what is going through your mind. That's the whole point of meditation. And when your mind's going really way off, like it's just completely like insane, then you start chanting or you do pranayama, breath work. And the breath work, right, is going to, there's one that I can't really teach you in this particular live, but I call it the train. My twin taught me that. And you will be, I'm not kidding, you'll be dizzy with oxygen within like 20, 30 seconds. I kid you not. And so learn some breath work so that you completely shift the dynamics of your monkey mind into a stillness of maybe even a few seconds of silence. And then you're controlling it with a mantra. And then you go into controlling your breath. And there goes the monkey mind. This is normal. The discipline that you're being asked by me and others like me is to sit your ass down and not move from your seat or the floor until your alarm on your phone rings or whatever. Make sure your phone is across the room. The dings and bings and the notices that you're getting, you're going to have to like just sit still. If it's even your twin calling you, sit still. It's discipline. Okay? All right, let's continue. Okay. We might be far more willing to learn how to use our mental mechanisms if we imagine for a moment that for every thought we either gained a dollar or lost a dollar, depending on the type of thought. Considering we think thousands of thoughts every day, this is quite a proposition. Imagine an accounting system noting our every thought and recording which one gained us money and which ones lost us money. How diligent we would be in controlling and directing our thoughts. Guess what? That's exactly what most of us are dealing with. We're losing money. We're losing opportunities. We're losing all kinds of different wonderful things that are your birthright. You actually have soul contracts for this stuff. But because you have free will, and because you're allowing your monkey mind to go pell-mell into chaos, you're actually not seeing much of the nectar offered to you at the right divine timing for you because of your monkey mind. All right, let's continue. How enthusiastically we would create those thoughts which makes us money, and how carefully we would avoid those which cost us money. This is in fact more or less what is already happening inside of you. Though with energy, not dollars, there's a big accounting system going on. It's called the universe, and no thought produced there is without its effect. This world of ours is not a dead pile of brick and stone. It is a living, vibrant system of energy. Every thought you think impresses itself upon this system, and its effect is indisputable. Whether you like it or not, you are forever creating your reality through what you are thinking. The beginning step to a new and more successful life is absurdly easy. You have only to pay attention to the flow of your thoughts inside your mind and direct it accordingly. Your life is entirely of your own making, so look at the way you are living. You claim you want financial abundance, yet you are constantly bemoaning your lack of money and how expensive things are. You dwell on what you don't have and the bills coming in. You worry and wonder how it will get along. You may want financial success, but because your consciousness is of lack and worry, you will not experience that abundance. Or maybe you wish you could find a new job, something interesting and challenging that would use your creativity and pay you well. If you constantly tell yourself these jobs are impossible to find, that it will never happen, it is unlikely it will ever happen. Perhaps you wish you could be a more outgoing individual, bold and spontaneous, full of assurance and confidence. Yet if you constantly focus on your inferiorities and inadequacies and put yourself down, reminding yourself again and again of your problems, you are not likely to become that type of person. You may want strength, but if your consciousness is of weakness, you are fooling yourself to think you will ever possess that strength. In short, wanting something badly will not make it happen. In short, hoping for something different will have no effect. Simply working hard, even if it's 12 to 15 hours a day, is not enough. You will always remain where you are unless, and it's a big unless, you change your thinking. Quote, "To them that hath, more shall be given. To them that have not, even that what little they have will be taken away." Luke 19:26. When I first read this quote, I didn't think it was fair. It didn't seem fair that them that had would get more and them that had not would lose what little they had. It just didn't seem right. I thought it would be more like just them that had not were given more, and that is not what the scriptures say. This, according to the Bible, is not the way the universe works. But then, upon reflection, I realized that it was indeed fair. In fact, what could be more fair than every person's freedom to choose for himself or herself thoughts, which will in turn create their reality? There is a great fairness in the complete freedom to determine the quality of your own life. Let me tell you something I used to tell people about wealth. I said what makes wealthy people different than the 99% is that good, because there's this idea that money is the root of all evil, and you have to be an evil asshole to get money. Okay, but that's not true. What I noticed in patterns of wealthy people that were abundant or had incredible we're living an incredible love story, because to me that's abundance too. Or we're incredibly powerful and healthy. That's abundance too. But anyway, what they all shared is that they felt good people and bad people knew that the money would never stop coming. They knew. See, and the 99% have an idea that the shoe, it's too good to be true, it won't last. Whereas the wealthy mindset, no, it will always last. They know for a fact, oh, that money's coming. I'm not worried. Yeah, I'm going to buy that Rolls Royce. Yeah, for 1.5 million. Yeah, I'm going to do that. Well, dude, that you only have 2 million. I'll make it again. It's a nonchalant, like, knowing. You could say it's arrogance, but it's a habit. It's a mindset habit, and they know. And money is energy. That's why I call it tofu money, because tofu will only take the flavor of whatever spices you put in. So whatever you put in, it becomes whatever you put in, and it will either taste bitter or it will taste good. Let's continue. Want to change your circumstances? Develop the necessary consciousness. A successful person has a successful consciousness. A wealthy person has developed a prosperity consciousness, and his thoughts are on abundance, success, and prosperity. This is how she thinks. Easy for him, you say. When you're successful, it's easy to think success. And when you're wealthy, it's easy to think prosperity. But my situation is totally different. I'm not successful. I'm not wealthy. The situation and circumstance of my life keep me down. They just showed me Tina Turner. Did you ever see Tina Turner, the movie on Tina Turner, where she runs, she's been beaten by Ike Turner, and she runs into the street. She has no fucking money. She's broke. Do you remember she was a Buddhist and she would chant every day? Did you remember that? Do you remember how incredibly she became more successful and more powerful? She lost, in other words, in running out that door, broke, right? Without a dime to her name. Trusting in the universe. She was able to grow more wealth because she trusted that anything was better than that. Anything was better than going back to Ike. Does that make sense? That kind of faith is power. Okay, let me continue. Wrong. Dead wrong. Your circumstances and situations never keep you down. The only things that keep you down and keep you stuck are your thoughts. With work and practice, you can learn to direct your thoughts and create any consciousness you choose. Your reality would change only after you've developed your new consciousness, not before. Did you get that? Not before. So when you're looking, there was a trick I was doing because I was broke, okay? There was a time in 2018 where I was broke. And I remember looking at my checking account and seeing minus $35, okay? And I would look at it, and instead of my heart dropping or feeling shame or anxiety or fear, what I did was I would add, and because it was a number I could believe. I couldn't believe $35,000, not yet, but I could believe in $3,500. And so I would see the number, I would just switch it out. And I would like go and feel how it felt to have $3,500. And I didn't give a fuck. I didn't, in other words, I didn't accept the negative balance. I accepted more zeros to the plus. And you know what happened in like 2 months? I got a $19,000 check for a car accident I'd forgotten about in New York. I was in California at the time, and the money was wired because I was doing this practice. So I'm not kidding, this works. Okay, let's continue. The new consciousness must come first. What is it that you want in your life? Do you know? This is a good question. What is it that you want in your life? Do you know? Do you know what you want? Because when I ask people, I ask clients, what do you want? Well, I'm not sure. Well, okay, that's cool. I understand that. What don't you want? Make a list of what you don't want, and then that will lead you to what you do want. Does that make sense? But you must know what you want, because confusion of what you most desire. Okay, fuck your shaming and your timidity and all that. You don't need that shit right now. What you need to know is, what do I want? Great, I claim it. Well, I'm not ready yet. I need more training. I need to... No. You claim it. And then you have it on your computer by your desk or whatever, on your screensaver. And you will actually start looking at it and going, yeah, that's it. How does that feel to want that? Okay, let's continue. So what is it that you want in your life? Do you know? More health? Then get health consciousness. More power? Then get power consciousness. More prosperity? Get prosperity consciousness. More happiness? Get happiness consciousness. More spirituality? Get spiritual consciousness. Everything exists as a possibility. All that is required is for you to feed in the necessary energy until your objective becomes yours. How reassuring it is to think that no matter what a person's past or present situation, no matter how many times he or she has previously failed, if that person would but just regularly feed his or her consciousness, his or her situation would change. This remarkable ability has been given to each and every one of us to use or to ignore. It costs no money. It takes no special talent. It takes only the decision on your part to take the time and put forth the necessary effort to develop the appropriate consciousness. That's all. Everything else will automatically fall into place. Your mind is like a garden which can be cultivated or neglected. And if you are its master gardener, you can cultivate the garden or you can ignore it and let it develop whatever way it will. But make no mistake, you will reap the harvest of your work or neglect. Quote, your mind creates your reality. You can choose to accept this or not. You can be conscious of it and set your mind working for you, or you can ignore it and allow it to work in ways that will hinder and hold you back. But your mind will always and forever be creating your reality. Let me read your comments because I really want to share that with others. Money is energy. Preach, Earth Angel. You're so sweet, James. Thank you. Your lives are the best. Really helps in the info I have already pieced together. That's awesome. Wow. I've been trying to get less attached to how it works and just focus on the result. You can never get attached to how it works. It is none of your business. I'm going to be rude. It is none of your business on how it's going to work. I'm going to tell you a story of a client of mine, okay? Now, he was dealing with a felony. I'm just going to stay straight up. It's some serious shit, right? And I said to him, you can't worry about how the shit's going to go down. I need you to visualize that the judge throws the case out. Just keep visualizing and get this euphoric explosion in your heart of holy fuck. And so guess what? He went to court with his attorney because he had to get an attorney. He had to pay for an attorney because he knew if he dealt with, public, whatever, attorneys, he was fucked, okay? So he went in with his paid for attorney, and the judge started reading the whatever, documents, and he actually threw it out. I'm not kidding. He threw it out. And his attorney turned to him and said, what the fuck just happened? Like, wait, hang on. I've never seen this. You're clear. You're in the, like, you're done. You're out. You're free. There's, and the attorney was like in shock. He said, I've never seen anything like it. Which shock. And they went out for coffee. And of course, the young man was very excited. My client was like grateful as fuck. But the point is, he told him what he had done. That he had been manifesting the end result. Not how it would, well, maybe a piece of something would show that I'm not guilty, something. No, he didn't even think of that. His whole thing was, how do I, let me just see the end result I want. I'm not going to figure out all the details, bringing in some proof that I wasn't there or I didn't do it. None of that. I'm going to trust, and I'm going to only see end result, and I'm going to feel the energy. So we're going to go into chapter 3 if you guys are cool with that, and then I'll go ahead and do a oracle reading if you want. Okay, insights. All right, cool. Ready? All right, ready. And I'll upload this so you guys can check it out. Okay. All right. So chapter 3, visualization. There is no thought in my mind, but it quickly tends to convert itself into power and organizes a huge instrumentality of means. Ralph Waldo Emerson. What is it that makes a person a winner? What distinguishes those who succeed from those who fail? It's all in the mind, says Arnold Schwarzenegger. A multi-millionaire, successful real estate tycoon, movie star, bodybuilder, 5-time winner of the Mr. Universe title, Arnold has it made. But it wasn't always so. Arnold can remember back when he had nothing except a belief that his mind was the key to getting where he wanted to go. When I was very young, I visualized myself being and having what it was I wanted. Mentally, I never had any doubts about it. The mind is really so incredible. Before I won my first Mr. Universe, I walked around the tournament like I owned it. The title was already mine. Let me tell you the story of a man who was just a colleague, a work colleague. I had interviewed him for a chef position. I used to work in culinary, okay? And this kid really wanted, he had come all the way from London to be with his beloved. They were twin flames, I kid you not. And he wanted to get this job, and so I interviewed him, and I said to him, look, I want you to take a picture of that entrance of the restaurant. And I want you to visualize yourself walking through the doors of the restaurant as a chef, hired by us. Just keep visualizing it, because it wasn't my own decision. It was a multitude of people that had to approve it. The master chef, head chef, whatever, corporate chef, whatever you want to call it, and other people had to go. He had to go through it, right? So I just kept saying, just visualize yourself walking through those doors as a hired, employee. And guess what? He got the job. He got the job within. I think he got hired within like 24 hours. Before I won my, I had won it so many times. So listen to this. The title was already mine. I had won it so many times in my mind that there was no doubt I would win it. And then I moved on to the movies. The same thing. I visualized myself being a successful actor, earning big money. I could feel and taste success. I just knew it would all happen. Chris Polian was a member of the world-renowned West German freestyle ski team that won the European Cup 6 times between 1976 and 1982. Part of our training program involved working with psychologists to increase the power of our minds. After training on the slopes, we were placed in a state of meditation and encouraged to totally repeat the slope runs in our mind, visualizing each bump and movement of the routine. We worked as hard, training mentally, as we did physically. Excellence in athletics, or indeed any endeavors, depend primarily on having a clear mental picture of that activity. Chris should know. She not only has had her 6 medals, but she now has her own successful consulting firm working with businesses and sports groups to show them how they too can benefit from the same technique. Brian Edwards, a man of infectious good humor and high spirits, sells life insurance. I met him on one of my tours, and he has become a good friend. Each evening before he goes to bed, he spends 10 minutes running over in his mind his next day's call. He pictured himself making his presentation to each client. He sees them being receptive and gladly taking out a policy with him. He imagines a very productive day with lots of sales. He does this for 10 minutes before he goes to bed and 10 minutes upon rising in the morning, a total of 20 minutes each day. Brian Edwards sells more insurance in 1 week than most people sell in 6 months, and is constantly in the top 1% of his profession every year. 3 totally different people with totally different goals and objectives in life, yet all are using the same technique to create and influence their reality. The technique of visualization. Visualization is using your imagination to see yourself in a situation that hasn't yet happened, picturing yourself having or doing the things you want and successfully achieving the results you desire. Let me explain how that works. In these incarnations, we have 100 paths. We have crossroad moments that lead to 100 different roads. Do you understand that? So this is why you're able to manifest. Because if you think that you're supposed to lose, or you're supposed to be stuck in a situation, an awful job, an abusive marriage, whatever it is, you're missing the point. There are 100 pathways for you to choose at every crossroad moment you have. And it's available. So when you pre-visualize a path, you're choosing the path that is of the least resistance, and you're choosing a path in the Akashic records, just saying, okay, that is already there for you to choose. Because you have free will. They're saying you can choose this, that, the other. You can choose to be poor. You can choose to do this. You can choose to do that. And so when you start visualizing, you choose the path that is of the highest good for you instead of the other paths that would reflect your old ways of thinking. Does that make sense? Any questions on that? That's why it works, okay? Yeah, absolutely. Because I need to, right? Break it down to me. I hope that, I hope I'm not interrupting too much, but I think you need to understand the mechanics, okay? So visualization is using your imagination to see yourself in a situation that hasn't yet happened. Picturing yourself having or doing the things you want and successfully achieving the results you desire. For example, let us say you want to be more confident. Using visualization, you picture yourself as confident. You see yourself doing things like talking to people, all with great confidence. You picture yourself in a situation that normally gives you difficulty, and you see yourself in these situations at ease. Did I tell you I was working in a culinary? Okay, so I was working at a culinary school. I've been in culinary for years, okay, before I got really serious about my own career. But I remember the president of the Cordon Bleu asked me to do a speech for 300 people, and I was fucking terrified. Terrified. I was like, I don't know, 37. I'd never spoken publicly. It wasn't my thing. And I was shaking. And I started using the idea of people coming up to me and shaking my hand. I even, the CEO of the company, I had him shaking my hand going, Tony, that was an amazing, wow. And so I saw the end result, and I got more and more emotionally involved with the end result of people just going, damn, Tony, that was amazing. Do you know that's exactly what happened? I took pranayama, deep breaths. I took my time. I spoke from the heart, and I rocked the fucking room. I was in shock because but I had been so busy concentrating on the end result that the end result met me halfway. Does that make sense? Okay, let's continue. All right. So you might picture your friends and associates complimenting you, congratulating you, or your newfound confidence. You feel the pride and satisfaction of both being a confident person and of enjoying the things that happen to you as a result of your confidence. You visualize everything that would or could happen to you and live it as if it already is happening to you. You don't say, I can't wait to win. You say, I'm so grateful I won. In other words, you already got it. And this is a mistake people always make. I can't wait till I get this new job. I'm so grateful. No, I'm so grateful for the new job and people love me. That's the way to say it. Language is powerful, my friends. Here's how to go about a successful visualization. Decide what you want to do. Pass an exam, gain a promotion, meet someone new, make lots of money, be more confident, win the squash game. Relax. 2. Spend several minutes unwinding so that you are comfortable in body and mind. Spend 5 to 10 minutes visualizing the reality you want. When you sit in meditation, isn't that what you're doing? Are you not doing that? Because if you're not using your meditation actively, because I'm going to be honest with you, none of you are going to be silent in your mind for 10 minutes. None of you are. However, when you start using your mind, the monkey mind, as a slave, as a servant to the soul, then so in your meditation, you'll be visualizing what you want to experience. Okay? Linger on thoughts of doing and having the thing you want, not as some future reality that might happen or could happen, but rather live in your mind as if it's happening to you right now. Create little inner film clips or videos. See yourself doing the things you want. I'll give you an example of what I say to clients who are in separation with their twin. Take a shower. Imagine he's in the shower, she's in the shower with you. Be in bed. Make sure the bed's not cluttered with shit. I'm not kidding. Leave the side of that bed empty. I'm not joking. And then imagine that she is in bed with you. They're sleeping. When you open the door to your house, imagine they've just made dinner for you. Do you get what I'm saying? And that is seeding the universe. I'm not joking. If it works, okay? It's never failed me. Never. Okay, on one level, you know it's not yet happening to you. It's not yet real. It's still just a visualization, a mental picture. But the mental picture we indulge in, the ones we regularly think about, become a blueprint for our goals, a mold into which we pour our energy. These pictures are real forces that will work for us. Build whatever characteristics are necessary in your visualization. If talent, courage, determination, or persistence are a vital part of the picture, include them. Sometimes you will see clear, sharp images as if you're watching yourself featured in the movie accomplishing your goals. Other times, you might just sort of think about your goals in a general way. This is all fine. You can alternate between precise and free-flowing visualization, doing a few minutes of each or concentrating on whatever techniques feels more comfortable. Precise visualization. Generate the exact picture and scenes you want in your mind. Follow the preset scripts you have created and run through your mind and a number of times. Free-flowing visualization. Allow images and thoughts to come and go without choosing them directly, as long as they show a positive outcome of your goal. Practice both methods, and remember the key here is practice. Most people find that they have a difficulty in the beginning stages of visualization. Their minds won't cooperate and picture this desired scene. Yeah, because your monkey mind has been left fucking running amok in your head for decades. So that's why the mantras when you're driving, people ask me, well, how many times should I do it? I'll give you an example. Before I moved, as I was moving from California to New York, my car broke down in Nevada. I found a mechanic that could jimmy the car. We didn't know if it was going to fucking work, okay? I chanted, out of 12 hours driving in the car, I chanted 6 hours, 7 hours. My son was chanting. We were like white knuckle grip, and then we started visualizing ourselves in New York. We didn't give a fuck. We just went with it. Do you know the car still works? It still fucking works. It's amazing, isn't it? So it's about you putting yourself in a sort of trance, and you're stepping outside of what the environment is slamming you with bullshit, and you're stepping outside of it, going internal, and you're internalizing a new reality. You're refusing the reality that you're getting, and you're going into a new reality that is exactly what you want to live. And that means that fear will creep up. You're not failing. It's the human mind being trained. Fear will come up, and you're going to slap it down with a mantra. You're going to slap it down with a pranayama exercise. But you're going to keep slapping it down until eventually it will be so exhausted, it will finally become a servant to your soul. Any questions so far? Okay. Makes sense? Okay. Okay. Their minds won't cooperate and picture the desired scenes. Don't worry if this happens. The picture doesn't have to be complete and perfect. If you commit yourself to a program of regular visualization, this guy is telling you that you need to learn how to fucking daydream and have incredible pleasure from it. I mean, basically, daydream, visualization, you're not just going off, skipping off into la la land. You're actually going, I want to visualize this incredible nectar of what my life is going to look like, and I'm going to make sure that it's happening now so it can meet me. Okay, you will be surprised at how your mind will gradually begin to think the thoughts and create the scenes you choose for it. I should mention at this point that visualizing something once or twice is of little effect. Results come when the image is imprinted again and again and again for a period of weeks or months until your goal has been achieved. Don't try to measure success after only 1 or 2 attempts. This is why I'm telling you, I've taught people mantras, and they'll say, well, I did the mantra twice. You mean you did it for 2 days? No, I just did it twice. What? Twice? No. So the reason I'm saying mantras for you guys and Sanskrit is I'm adding to this book is because I know for a fact that I don't know what the magic is. Honestly, I don't give a shit. I don't know how this phone works, but I sure in the hell can communicate with you very well, right? So I don't care, but I know they work. So when I tell you to do a mantra, fucking do the mantra. And if you have to do it every day, all day long, doing your laundry, because your monkey mind is an a-hole in your head, fucking do it. Do it in your car, at the red light, in the groceries. Just keep doing aham prema, whatever mantra you choose to do. Make that a goal, okay? Thank you. Incredible information on this live. I'm glad, really, really glad, because something told me to do this today. Okay? All right. If doubts or contradictory thoughts arise, and occasionally they will, just ignore them. Don't try to resist them or fight them. Simply let those thoughts come and go in your consciousness without much notice. Well, let's be honest. The average person can't do that. That's why you have a mantra. Okay? Because we're going brass tacks here. We're trying to figure out, how do I get this? Because you will not. Most brains are so screwed with so many negative taping, templates that are just worrying, these fucked up thoughts, maybe thoughts that were given to you by bad teachers, bad mentors, bad parents, bad situations, bad lovers that betrayed you and said awful things before they left. These things sometimes you can't just let it go through your consciousness without much notice. You can't. So you need to chant, okay? Just keep repeating your visualization, and everything will be quite naturally look after itself. 2 conditions for successful visualization. Always visualize your goal as if it's actually happening. Present tense only. Never, correct yourself again and again when you do 369, right? Make sure it's present tense, never future, because it will never happen. I'm not joking. Always visualize your goal as if it actually happening to you right now. Make it real in your mind, make it detail, enter the role, and become it in your mind. So when I have a client who is saying, my twin is not with me, blah, 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 when I tell my clients to use sex magic, I say, make sure your detail, make sure there's a wedding ring on your finger and a wedding ring on his finger, her finger, and make sure that it's you. Have a sexual fantasy about, for example, and again, I'm going to go more into sex magic later. I can do another live on that some other time. But visualize that you just got married. Visualize that you're in an incredible vacation in Bali, and your room is overlooking the ocean, and you're having amazing, wonderful tantric sexual connection. Okay? As if it's happening now. Okay? All right. Visualize your goal at least once a day, and every day. There's power in repetition. Any thought put in your mind, nourished and regularly, will produce results in your life. Let me share with you a now famous, well-documented experiment conducted by psychologist Alan Richardson. A group of student basketball players were divided into 3 groups, tested for their ability to score baskets, and each group's results were recorded. The first group was then directed to come into the gym every day for a month to practice shooting. The second group was instructed to engage in no practice at all, and the third group was instructed to engage in a very different sort of practice. They didn't step foot in the gym, but instead stayed in their dorms, mentally imagining themselves there practicing for half an hour every day. They saw themselves shooting and scoring and improving dramatically. They continued this inner practice every day. After a month, the 3 groups were tested again. The first group, those who practiced shooting every day, showed a 24% improvement in their scores. The second group, those who did not practice, showed no improvement. And the third group, who, remember, had practiced only in their minds, improved equally as much as the group that had practiced for real. Did you hear that? For real. It's interesting because when your mind goes, your body doesn't know it's not experiencing it. Did you know that? Your mind controls even how your body reacts. So your body will think it's experiencing whatever you're visualizing. This is true. All right, let's continue. Such creative visualization is powerful, but it's far from magic. It involves working with natural laws and energies and being creative in directing your inner innate power. Properly directed, your imagination is one of the most dynamic faculties that you possess. Begin using this technique right away. You don't need to concern yourself with the specific of how things will unfold. Trust the process. Supply follows demand, and you will be led to the right thing at the right time. You can be sure that the ways and means will make themselves known to you, for nature always creates the opportunities needed to fulfill the demands put upon her. It's natural to want all the answers before you're willing to risk any legwork. Can you imagine? But he knows who he's talking to. We'd all love to see the steps and know all the details of everything that will happen to us, but you rarely get to see those details and steps at the beginning, and very often things unfold in the most unexpected ways. Actress Carol Burnett was born in Los Angeles and raised by her grandmother. They scraped by on welfare and were so poor that her grandmother collected toilet paper from public washrooms. There certainly was not enough money to send the talented youngster to UCLA, which was Carol's dream. She, however, knew that one day she was going to attend the university. I never thought about the possibility of not going. I would imagine myself taking the classes, being on the campus, learning everything I wanted to learn. Every day I would think about it. Even though there didn't seem to be any way I could go, I knew I would. So how did she get the money? One day, in my final year of high school, I went to the mailbox to check the mail. There was an envelope made out to me. It had a stamp on it, but it wasn't postmarked. It hadn't been mailed. It had been hand-delivered by someone. I opened the envelope, and in it was the exact amount of my first year's tuition. Not a note, no explanation, just the money. I still to this day don't know who sent it. Did you hear that? Opportunities open up when you open up your thoughts. Now I'm not saying that if you visualize it, someone will come up with an envelope and give you the exact amount of money you want, the way it happened for Carol Burnett. But I do promise you that situations and opportunities will come your way that will lead you to your goal. You can count on it. Your thoughts are more powerful than you suspect, and any images held in the mind is a force that will eventually produce an effect. It's not futuristic science fiction that we possess this ability. It already exists within us as a practical tool which we can use anytime we choose. Wow. Any questions or comments on that? Any questions or comments? Isn't that amazing? Probably one of the most important books ever written on, because it breaks down the science of it. So now all your 3D people that you love or do you know who don't believe in shit, well, it's been scientifically proven. It's not woohoo, new age bullshit. It's science. Okay? This is so true. Great. I'm glad that this is resonating with you. Any questions or comments? Shall I continue? Good evening. Should I continue? Or shall I go into oracle readings? Because we have another, or I can start doing this every day. We can finish the book together. All right. Yeah? All right. Oracle? Please continue. Okay, well, there's a majority saying, please continue. All right. Seeding. Chapter 4, seeding. When an object or purpose is clearly held in thought, its precipitation in intangible and visible form is merely a question of the time. The vision always precedes the realization. Lillian Whitten. If visualization is creating scenes or pictures in your own movies, then seeding is like adding the soundtrack. Only instead of words, you are adding the feeling that accompanied the pictures. Let me explain before we begin. We roll with this. If you say, I'm sitting on $100,000 in my bank right now, I have $100,000 in my, and you feel depressed, or you feel like your feeling is more about how it won't. In other words, you're more cynical about it, and your feelings are more in the cynical side, fearful side, whatever side it is that's negative. I don't care if you say it every day and you visualize it. If you don't feel what that feels like, then you're not going to win. Okay? It's not that you're a failure. It's that you need to understand the subtle aspect of manifesting what you want. And the feeling universe is the most important aspect you need to understand when you connect. Why do you think sex magic is so powerful? Because it's about feelings, right? It's about an explosion of feelings, right? That's why sex magic is used in the spiritual community, because we know it works. All right, let's continue. For example, let's say you have an important presentation to make to your company. Your supervisors and bosses will all be present. If you do well, there's an excellent chance you'll be promoted as a result. The presentation is very important to your career. You decide to use the seeding technique, spending 5 to 10 minutes seeding the thought and feeling that you've just given the presentation, and it was a huge success. Everyone was impressed. The interview is all over you, and you did it. You pulled off a fabulous presentation. Unlike visualization, in seeding, you are primarily concerned with the feeling of whatever it is you are visualizing. Here is where your imagination comes into play. Imagine what it would be like to have delivered the perfect presentation. Would you be excited, elated, overjoyed, relieved, thrilled? Whatever your personal reaction, feel it in your guts. Make those physical feelings a part of you. Live in the certainty that you already have the thing that you want. Don't wish, wonder, worry, or hope that it will go well. Claim it in your mind as an already existing fact. Replace it's going to go well with it has gone well. It's all over and you did it. So enjoy the feeling of excitement, the sense of accomplishment, and the thrill of pulling it off. Congratulate yourself. Shout for joy. Leap up and down, if like exalted, and vibrate again and again with the feeling of having already accomplished your goal. That's the key. It's the feeling. And again, if you get whatever if your outside environment is collapsing around you, meaning, you got a cutoff notice for your phone bill, or you're late on your rent, or whatever, right? Whatever's happening with you, and you let that fuck your head up, and you're like, just, oh God, yes, I win all the time, and you're feeling that way, nothing's going to happen. So that means you have to literally jump over the hoop of negativity of the outside environment trying to throw roadblocks in your success. And you have to literally transmute this energy and not let it mess you up. And that takes discipline. That takes you fighting your monkey mind and your innate, no offense, we all have this problem, okay? It's not a judgment on any of you. We all have self-loathing. We all have a lack of true self-respect. We all feel as if we're not ready. We're not this, we're not that. We can't, not yet. And yet, to be a perfectionist is your jail. You will never be ready until you claim that you're ready, even if you're not ready. I don't care if your shoes are untied and your tie is askew, or you got to run in your pantyhose. You will rock that moment. And if you don't believe that, you won't. It's that simple. Okay? All right, let's continue. Again, in seeding, you are not primarily interested in the mental picture of how you'll achieve your goal, though these pictures will quite naturally flow in your mind. Rather, it is the physical sensation of accomplishment you're after. The flushed cheeks, the pounding heart, the sweating palms. In the Bible, Yeshua's disciples asked him to teach them how to pray. You may or may not believe in the teachings of the Bible. It does, however, contain some very powerful insights into mind power techniques. Yeshua replied, whatever things you pray for and ask for, believe that you have received. I shall receive them. Notice he said that you must believe you have received them. Not that you will receive them, but that you have received them. Therefore, you will receive them. This is more than just hoping or wishing. This is claiming what you want in the inner world, the world of thought and creative energy. It is a very powerful process, as any person adept in applying mind power will attest. Let me share with you a story that happened to two very good friends of mine, Bill and Janet Henderson. The Hendersons were moving to a major city from a rural area, and they wanted to buy a house roomy enough to accomplish their growing family. Of course, houses are much more expensive in the city, and they were a large family needing a large house. They also had a very specific need. Not only did they want a large house, they wanted a large yard with lots of trees, and all at a price within their budget. Everyone told them that they would never find anything like that for the price they wanted to pay, but they knew better. Bill had practiced mind power techniques both in his job and his relationship with his family, and knew they worked, so he enlisted Janet, and together they worked as a team, visualizing and seeding for the house. 2 months later, they called me and asked me to come to see their new home. We walked around their spacious yard, as tranquil with its trees, shrubs, and flowers, as if they had taken a piece of the country and brought it with them. Once inside, they gave me the full tour. It was a spacious house with enough bedrooms to give all their children their own rooms, and there was a den and a recreation room, all for the price they had wanted to pay. That's fabulous, I said. Aren't you surprised you found it? Bill's answer showed such enlightened understanding of the powers of the mind that I've never forgotten it. No, he said, we're not surprised at all. In our minds, we had already taken possession of the house 2 months ago. He said it with such confidence. After all, this was the only manifestation of something he had been claiming as his for 2 months. Bill and Janet had claimed the house in their inner world. They had taken possession of it already. Those are strong words, strong vibrations, powerful faith. They weren't hoping or wishing or wondering when and where and they would find their dream house. They just worked regularly with the feeling that a house which would meet their needs would be theirs. They took possession of it in their minds, not this specific house, for until it came their way, they had no idea it ever existed. But they did know what they wanted and needed, and this is what they needed. They seeded every day until it became their reality. Today, the Hendersons not only use seeding and other mind power techniques in their lives, they're teaching their children the same principles so they too can be rich and rewarding lives. What greater gift would a parent give to their children than an understanding of their own natural powers? We all have these powers. Our thoughts create our reality, and seeding is merely working with the thoughts that you already have the thing you want. Once again, it is repetition and consistency that separates seeding from idle daydreaming. In seeding, you don't live in illusion. You don't walk around every day with your head in the clouds, literally believing you possess something you don't. Seeding is a mind power exercise that takes 5 minutes a day, 5-minute bursts of energy that you create for yourself regularly each and every day without fail. The importance of repetition cannot be overemphasized. As with all mind power techniques, practicing sporadically here and there will have little effect. Let me give you an example of what that means. If you want to have a fucking snatch body, a kick-ass body, and you're going to the gym 1 hour a day, once a week, good luck. It's not going to work. If you go to the gym 5 days a week and you do 30 to say an hour a day, within 6 months, you'll have a different body. There's no doubt. It's just, it's common sense. And that's what he's talking about. This is the problem with the inconsistency that I come across with clients. When I ask them to chant every day, when I tell you to do Lakshmi for 45 days, 108 times, if you don't do it, you're not going to get the results that you want. It's that simple. Okay? And I've told you stories about how my son found money in the in the back of our house. There was no way. There's been no one here. So it wasn't my money because I didn't lose any money. It wasn't his money because he hadn't lost any money. But he was actually taking the shower, using the water as a conduit, chanting Lakshmi and feeling money coming. He didn't worry about where it came from. And boom, there he found $130, nicely folded. And it made no sense. And I said, it's almost like the energies, your guides, like dropped the money because it was in the back. There was no way. No fucking way. It didn't make sense. But who cares? The point is, he got the gift, okay? Set yourself up a regular program and keep to it. Regularly seed the feeling that you already have whatever it is you want. It's yours. Live it. Vibrate with it. Exalt and thrill with it. Claim it. Absolutely yours. Take possession of it in the inner world. 2 conditions for successful seeding. Always seed with the feeling that you have the thing you want, that you have already achieved it. 2, seed regularly each and every day for at least 5 minutes. It is infinitely better to practice a few minutes every day than to do it for an hour once a week. What did I just say? I haven't read this book in like 10 years. But this book changed my life. And my brother gave me this book. My brother was telling me, I really want this, he was young. He was like 20 something. And he wanted a Mercedes. He wanted a $100,000 car. That's what he wanted, okay? And he kept taking, whenever he took showers or whenever he was meditating, he would just see the car. He would just feel. So when he got in his car, it wasn't that car that he was driving. It was that $100,000 car. Do you know that he fucking got the car? He got the car. So it's incredible, right? Please continue. Every day, please. Vision boards or mind movies are great as well. You can meditate on those images if you struggle. I don't believe that. Sorry. I'm going to say no. And I'm going to tell you why. You have to learn that you don't need a pacifier. You don't need a pacifier. You need to have the discipline to do it yourself. Okay? If you create a vision board, you can do it, but there are few people that have been successful with vision boards, to be honest. There have been lots of great stories about vision boards. But I find that it starts, I don't know, it's like people hang their clothes on it. Or if you're going to do a vision board, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. If you're going to do a vision board, you're going to put it around the ceiling over your bed. So that the minute you open your eyes, the first thing you see is your vision board. That's the only way I feel personally. And you're still going to do all of these exercises. The vision board is just something that's going to help you a little bit. But to be honest with you, I've seen too many people not do well with it. It's fun to put together. It's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. But I haven't seen it as successful as chanting mantras, visualizing, sex magic, all of that. That I've seen manifest massive success, like shockingly. Love this. 100% agree. My life is based on these principles. Wonderful, wonderful mystic living. mystical living. Any questions or comments? Any questions? Did this help? Does this help? Isn't this amazing? And there's certain things you gotta understand. This book was written in, let me think, I'm trying to remember. I think it was, here, let me look. This book was written, because I have the, hang on for a quick second, I'm going to tell you. Because there's certain things, 1997. Okay, so in 1997, you have to understand, in 1997, Louise Hay was an amazing, she was the queen of self. Mind Power into the 21st Century by John Kehoe, Kehoe. Mind Power into the 21st Century. So when he says affirmations, I'm not a big fan. I know Sanskrit works, so you could say I'm bullish on Sanskrit. But anyway, let's go ahead and read chapter 5. Are you cool with that? You want to read chapter 5, or do you want to go into something else? I'm gonna let you guys decide. Any other questions? This does help. Good, Polly. I'm really glad. Okay, so it's chapter 5, affirmations. The possibilities of thought training are infinite. Its consequences eternal. Yet few take the pains to direct their thinking into channels that will do them good, but instead leave all to chance. Bryce Martin. Okay, more please. Fantastic. Affirmations are probably the easiest and simplest technique I know of to influence and affect the conscious mind. They have been used for centuries throughout the world in such spiritual and magical practices as prayers and mantras. Now they're being used by people from all walks of life to close business deals, heal ailments, meet people, win tournaments, and in countless other applications. Affirmations are simple statements repeated to yourself, silently or aloud, whatever feels more comfortable and practical to you at the time. You can do them anywhere. In your car while you're driving, sitting in a doctor's office waiting for an appointment, lying in bed before you go to sleep. You decide upon a statement that represents what you want to have happen to you, and you repeat it to yourself over and over. For example, you'll say, let's just say you're in a situation that usually upsets you and makes you tense when you prefer to be relaxed and calm. This is the perfect time to use an affirmation. Quietly repeat to yourself, I feel calm and relaxed. I feel calm and relaxed. I feel calm and relaxed. Don't try forcing yourself to feel calm and relaxed. Just keep repeating the statement to yourself for a couple of minutes. Likewise, you have a big meeting coming up and you want it to go well. Begin affirmations to yourself beforehand. It's going to be a great meeting. It's going to be a great meeting. It's going to be a great meeting. I disagree. This was a kick-ass meeting. I'm so grateful. The meeting was an incredible success. I want you to put it more behind you, because this affirmation is future language. Okay? So I'm just saying I don't agree with this. Now, if you did, I'm going to just straight up, okay, I'm going to pull out. If you did, I am divine love. If you're divine love, what happens? People will be attracted to you. I'm going to tell you a trick, okay? Because this affirmation, no offense, I'm not a fan, but I'm going to read it to you. Don't worry. But I'm going to explain to you why I'm not a fan. Because affirmations are tricky. Sanskrit is not. It's exact. When you work on your chakras with using a mantra that brings you to a high vibration of being divine love, for example, I am divine love, ahom prema, ahom, and you start working on your chakras, right? You're doing each chakra one by one. You're laying in bed, okay? And you come to your solar plexus. This is a trick I've learned, and I do it all the time just for shits and giggles. I will work on all my chakras. I will hit my solar plexus, the seat of power. That is the seat of magnetism. That is where people, like I've done it again and again, where I will go out in a supermarket, in this whatever, and people will stare at me and smile, from old ladies to young women to men to children. It's crazy. And so to have a good meeting, to have something happen that's going to be a successful transaction, you want to have charisma and magnetism emanating out of you, so people are attracted to you like a magnet. And then your confidence will explode out of your throat chakra because you're asking the universe to say truth with integrity, with honor, for success for all, right? When you start like setting yourself up for a meeting in that way, when you get grounded and you ground yourself, calling in an archangel, believe me, it's not woohoo. It works. I've won cases. I've gone to bat for my son who had different learning needs. He's brilliant, but they weren't fucking doing it. And I literally took people to court, school systems to court, and I fucking won. I was like my own paralegal. And it wasn't because I was brilliant. It was because I was using energy work. And I was collaborating with the universe to help me win. Does that make sense? So I'm going to finish reading this, but again, I'm not a fan, just to let you know. All right. So what are you doing when you are doing affirmations? When you are doing affirmations, you are influencing the thoughts that occur in your mind. Your mind can hold only one thought at a time, so affirmations work by filling your mind with thoughts that support your goal. The words suggest to the mind that it should be thinking. If you're affirming to yourself it's going to be a great meeting, your mind will quite naturally begin thinking related thoughts about it being a great meeting. Your mind is effortlessly picks up the implications and message of your affirmations. It sounds very simple, but this technique can be remarkably effective in helping you gain the results you want. Make whatever you want to see happen in an appropriate affirmation and use it regularly. One successful salesman I know begins each day with the affirmations: lots of sales, lots of smiles. Lots of sales, lots of smiles. That's a good affirmation, actually. And he repeats this to himself for several minutes in the morning and several times throughout the day. Things to remember when you are doing affirmations. You don't necessarily have to believe them. In fact, anyone who's ever been unsuccessful in using affirmation has probably been trying to force themselves to do just that. This mistake can actually nullify the effect of the affirmation. Don't worry about believing. Just keep repeating. That's excellent. If you do believe what you are affirming, great. If you don't believe it, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. The conscious mind will quite naturally pick up the content of whatever you're affirming, and the correct thoughts will seep into your consciousness. You don't have to force anything. Excellent. Always affirm in the positive. Make positive statements, not negative ones. For example, if you want to see a meeting go well, you wouldn't say, I'm not going to blow this meeting. If you want to be calm and relaxed, you wouldn't affirm, I'm not going to be uptight. For some reason, the mind doesn't pick up the not, and you find yourself programming blow the meeting or uptight. The mind will focus on these self-destructive images and not on what you want. Keep affirmations short. An affirmation should be like a mantra. Did you hear that? Should be like a mantra. Now, in 1997, he knew that this book needed to go across the board to every person in the planet, right? And that most people would balk at the mantras. Why? Because they're Sanskrit. And people would knee-jerk, well, I'm Christian, well, I'm this, I'm that. I'm Muslim, I'm Jewish, I'm Buddhist. Well, Buddhists, they do this anyway, but you get what I'm saying, right? And so, this book is still incredible. It's a jewel. Okay, so keep your affirmations short, and affirmations should be like a mantra, short and simple, easy to say and easy to repeat. I like to keep my affirmations to 10 words or less. Sometimes even 2 words can be very effective. Tremendous success or record sales. I've had people show me affirmations that were a half page long. A half page long? Yeah, that's not an affirmation. There's no way you can say an affirmation that long repeatedly. Even 2 sentences is too long. Repetition that will imprint your affirmations into your consciousness, so the shorter, the better. I repeat, make it short, make it rhythmic, make it easy to say. Be careful that you don't use affirmations against yourself without realizing it. I'll never get it done. I'll never do it. It's impossible. I'm blowing it. I'm a disaster at relationships. I know I'm going to make a mistake. I'm always losing are all affirmations that you can find yourself repeating to yourself without even realizing it. Watch out for them. Let me share with you an experience that happened to me on a recent lecture tour. Halfway through the tour, I looked at my schedule for the following month and couldn't believe my eyes. I was being routed from one city to another with hardly any breaks, and was even expected to be in 2 different cities on the same day. I began thinking that the upcoming month would be an impossible stress-filled pressure cooker, and that's what I actually started telling myself. This is going to be a pressure cooker. For 2 or 3 days, I felt increasingly tense and uptight in anticipation of the dreadful next leg of the tour. I cursed the person who had set this ridiculous schedule for me. Then I caught myself. I had to laugh. Here I was teaching mind power, and I'd unwittingly fall into a trap of my own making. Nice affirmations. I'm in a pressure cooker. So I made myself a new affirmation, focusing on just 3 words: organized, relaxed, and fun. I repeated this to myself for several minutes. The next morning, I began the day with the same affirmation. I repeated it whenever I started to thinking about my hectic schedule. Within a few days, I began thinking that as long as I was organized and relaxed, the marathon pace would be fun. What was I getting all upset about? In the end, those 3 words made all the difference. My schedule didn't change, but my attitude toward it did. The tour that I had almost made into a pressure cooker for myself turned out to be a breeze. I was organized, relaxed, and I had fun rushing about to meet the challenge. Once I changed from a negative to a positive affirmation. You too can create affirmations and use them throughout your day to help you accomplish the things you want. They are easy to say and can be done anywhere, in the bank, lining up, in the waiting room, or when stuck in traffic. You don't have to believe them. You don't have to do them with the literal belief that you have it. All you have to do is repeat them. I suggest starting first in the morning because that crucial first half hour sets the tone for the rest of your day. As little as 2 to 3 minutes of practice will soon produce a noticeable effect. Every day, in every way, it's getting better and better. The name Emily Kehoe may not be commonly known today. Thank you, my love. But at the turn of the century, this pioneer in affirmation techniques was curing illnesses and teaching his discovery in clinics all over Europe and North America. He caused quite a sensation in his day, and his work is still talked about today, decades after his death. Kehoe found that his patients recovered much better and more clearly if they repeated a simple affirmation every morning upon rising and every evening before you go to sleep. There's a scene in The Secret by Rhonda Burns where a woman has breast cancer. You can see the actual film to see it. In other words, the x-ray. And you see this, it's the size of a plum, okay, a big plum. And her affirmations was, thank you for my healing. Thank you for my healing. Thank you. She would say it all day long and watch funny movies. I think it was within 2 to 3 months it had dissolved. Okay, let's move on. The affirmations he taught them was every day in every way I'm getting better and better. 2 minutes in the morning, 2 minutes in the evening. That's it. That's all. The effect was so dramatic that he wrote several books on the subject of self-suggestion and taught people around the world to curative properties of the mind. When directed towards recovery, Kehoe's affirmation focused on the patient's mind on every day, in every way, getting better and better. Emile Kehoe is credited with the documented cures of thousands of people. Closer to our own time, singer-songwriter John Lennon will always be remembered for his music, his humanitarian beliefs, and his wonderful openness. Lennon made no secret of his interest in magic and the powers of the mind, and his songs reflected his interests. Listen to his lyrics for the song Mind Games. We're playing our mind games, creating the future out of the now. Lennon knew and used both visualization and affirmation. My mind is what makes it all happen, he liked to say. And in Beautiful Boy, which he wrote for his son Sean, he actually sings, before you go to sleep, say this little prayer. Every day in every way it's getting better and better and better. He, like Kehoe and so many other great men and women before him, found his way to his eternal truth. John Lennon's songs beckoned us to believe in ourselves and to believe in our power and our ability. What do you think you are? He sang. A superstar? Well, right you are. Wow, that was amazing. So I'm going to stop here. I think this was a lot. And I think that I've inspired some of you to get the book, Mind Power into the 21st Century by John Kehoe. When I take clients on, okay, they get homework. This is the kind of homework I give them. I have tons of books that I've read over the years, over the decades, and they're books that can help you like claim your power. All right, let me read this. Lying in bed. Okay, I get that now. People just look at me and say they are drawn to me and smile. Love it. My son is special needs, some same situation. Yes. How do I navigate life as a star child? I kind of just talked about how I've just bought it. Good for you, Chris. Can you please send book into the group? Can I? Oh, okay. Well, I mean, yeah, sure. It's fine. No worries, I will. Okay. Any other question? I'm surprised you were here. I didn't even know you were there. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. You're very sweet. Well, I'm lucky to have you. You're welcome. Absolutely. So, I do different lives for different things. And I'm constantly doing different things. It's just, it's how my mind clicks. I just have to do different types of... I will leave you with a quote. It says, "To you the earth yields her fruit, and you shall not want if you know how to fill your hands." Khalil Gibran. I came in late, currently in Las Vegas. Oh, cool. Always appreciate you. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Any comments? Okay, shall we do an oracle reading? I'm thinking Earth Warrior Oracle. What do you guys think? You want to do that, and then we'll call it a night? Thank you. You're awesome, too. Okay. Excuse me. Let me clear my throat. I have to drink water. It was a lot of reading. We read 5 chapters. The chapters are amazing. And here's how I'd like you to read it, Chris. The way you're going to read it is every night you're going to read 3 chapters. I mean, not 3 chapters. Chapter 1, chapter... So because each chapter is 3 or 4 pages. At most 4 pages. And so if you read 1 chapter a day, every night, your mind will be seated with new concepts that will clear your monkey mind from any bullshit. And you'll go to bed, you'll go to sleep with this clear, beautiful energy from this book. That's actually how I first read it. I would read it every night, and I would read 1 chapter a night. And then after that, I just barreled through it again and again and again. It's about 100 and how many pages? It's like surprisingly potent. Hang on for a quick second. Let me see how many pages. Yeah, it's 145 pages. Can you believe that? It's insane. All right. Also watch, Polly is my friend. Hi, my friend. All right, so thank you for explaining, giving example. It helps so much. Well, there were his examples and my examples. There were I was giving you examples from my own experiences and examples for you, from me, so that you guys would have a nice pool of understanding, right? Because sometimes, again, 1997. So how many years is that? My God, 27 years ago, right? All right, when you're ready, pick top, bottom, or middle. Top, bottom, or middle. Top, bottom, or middle, okay? Top, bottom, or middle. Ready? Top. Majority wins on this one. Bottom. Middle. I need a majority. Top. Okay, cool. I'm doing top. Okay. So this is called 29. The number 29, Nana Buluku, she rests to create. Did you hear that? She rests to create. Okay, perfect. All right, let's do it. So let's look at 29. And I love this line, she rests to create. I've always said, this is something I've always said, that Americans were the hardest working people in the Western world. Specifically Western world, right? You guys never rest. And that's not good. You have to start embracing the act of doing nothing. And if your monkey mind is the reason why you will not do that, that's exactly why you should do that. All right, let's begin. 29, Nana Buluku, she rests to create. Your energy is a precious resource, and there are ways of being that can enhance, amplify, and replenish it. Give yourself sufficient rest, and you shall find the way forward more effortless. Explore the lifestyle that grows your inner resources rather than requiring constant exertion and exhaustion to accomplish an endless list of external pursuits. You need this shift in being now because you are ready to accomplish more. For this to take place, there needs to be less effort and more wisdom. Trust and value what can be achieved through rest. Inner reading. You have more than enough energy to bring the sacred visions held within your heart to life. An increase of energy and peacefulness is indicated. You are guided to choose high energy people, places, and purposes. High energy does not necessarily mean that which is highly stimulating, but rather that which regenerates you through peacefulness and joy. Give generously to yourself to be able to give generously to others. You have unusual ideas or ways of being that suit you, but may not suit others. Work with what works best for you, without trying to force yourself. To confront this approach, bring well-being and creative success. Spiritual guidance. Nana Boluka is the grandmother creatress, the supreme feminine creative principle of West African myth. She created the universe, then rested. It's funny, isn't it? Then rested. When you do a big push in a creative new direction, I don't care if you're writing a book, starting a company, you've got massive amount of sales, you need to rest. Get a hammock, for Christ's sakes. Put it in your living room. I'm not kidding. And give yourself a moment of just absolute languorous nothingness. Very important. Like, it's probably the most important thing you can do to relax your mind. Okay? Okay. She created the universe, then rested. The intersection of rest and extraordinary creative power is repeated in numerous spiritual traditions from cultures around the world. This theme is also present in the lives of inspirational innovators in disciplines ranging from the science to the arts. When you are boldly ambitious, creatively confident of the fulfillment of your life purpose and heart-inspired plans, it may seem that rest is the last thing you have time to do. For there is so much to be accomplished, yet the conscious use of deep rest allows us to connect closely to the divine creative genius. Taking time for renewing stillness can allow us to work smarter rather than always working harder. African spirituality is based on a holistic view where no issue in one's life is separate from the spiritual world. Recognizing that spirit is intimately involved and lovingly invested in every single aspect of your life is how you begin to generate restful consciousness. This type of consciousness is based on the trust that spirit knows what you are here to do and wants to help you to do it. You don't have to orchestrate the details of your life, not figure out everything or anything of your own. You do not need to have signs to prove something is happening every single day. What you need is faith in the fundamental goodwill that the divine has towards you and your life purpose. Did you hear that? The reason for which you signed up for life in the first place. From a place of restful consciousness, you can make profound progress. You can release striving and pursuit in favor of activity that comes from a place of inner inspiration, born from rest. In the mystical tradition of many cultures, it is considered that we incubate in silence and spaciousness in periods of rest. Through the invisible workings of the most willing and loving spirit, all quiet and openness are responded to with renewed energy, clearer directions, and helpful guidance. Through a process of regular restfulness, you will likely find yourself becoming more active and certainly more productive. Rather than continually discharging energy without adequately restoring yourself, you will be regenerating more swiftly and thoroughly on all levels of your being and continually amplifying your energetic output. Your actions will have further reach. Remember the people who studied the basketball, who visualized to do in other words, one team practiced and improved by 24%, the other ones practiced internally. They were resting their bodies and also improved 24%, though they were never on the courts. Does that make sense? Okay. Pretty wild, right? Conscious rest is a sacred subversion of the established disorder that would have you chasing your tail, running yourself ragged, and wearing yourself out in the belief that somehow it will help you get to where you want to be. So make the contribution that you want to make. Instead, you will be healing and growing and creating from a place of inner creating a new world order in harmony with divine genius. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So if you do what I just read to you, the 5 chapters you read, and you rest, right? You take resting seriously, like almost jealously, like almost saying to everyone, yeah, put your phone on airplane mode, fuck them. And you just, I don't know, nap. I don't know how many of you nap, but napping is incredibly refresh you in ways you can't even imagine. In fact, sometimes napping, 20 minutes, a cat nap, it's been proven scientifically that it's like sleeping 3 hours. So give yourself that. Ground yourself every day. I remember when I worked for people, right, in the old days, like years, decades, I used to take it, I didn't smoke, but I took my smoke break because everyone else was doing it. And I go in a place where I was away from people, and I would just ground myself, which means I would look into the sky and ask for strength and ask to be grounded and give my angels, guides, and allies permission to guide me so that I could go back in there and hit my goals. I always hit my goals. I never failed goals. That was not my problem. My problem was I hate working for people. I didn't like working for people and doing what I thought was a complete waste of time, right? So that was my problem. But what I'll tell you is that when you combine resting with grounding, with cat naps, with setting up an environment in your house, like I have a meditation room, right? And it's absolutely beautiful. My son he just spends more time there than his bedroom. It's kind of like crazy. But I don't care if it's a corner of your bedroom, make it incredible. Make it where you feel so good, you feel so relaxed, so in tune, and you have an altar, and it just gives you incredible pleasure to even look at that little corner in your bedroom or in the living room or wherever you want to claim a piece of your dwelling for yourself. I'm not kidding when I say get yourself a hammock. I'm not joking. Inside, because there's something about it rocking you back and forth. Things of that nature is going to, believe it or not, inspire you, because you're going to get into a state of absolute relaxation and surrender. Thank you, Letty. Any other questions? Any comments or questions? Okay, so I have 2 videos that I'm going to upload. One was this morning. I did a live on Oracle, the runner-chaser dynamic. This was about manifestation. You will see this picture. I'm starting to work on having different images so that you guys are prompted to see. You may want to go back on my YouTube channel to listen to this again. Okay, and I think it will help you listen to this again. If you want me to go from chapter 6 and on and do this tomorrow night, I'll be more than happy to come on live, and we can go through the book and do another 5 chapters together. Are you guys interested? Let me know. Are you interested in doing 5 more chapters tomorrow from this book, or between 3 and 4 chapters? Okay. Anyone else? So, okay, cool. So tomorrow I will come back on around, I don't know what time it is. Hang on, let me see. I'll come on at around 9 o'clock Eastern time, and we'll go ahead and continue reading, and then we'll have an oracle card. Is that cool? And that should be fun and inspiring. I know that I have been thinking about reading this book again. I haven't read this book in, I don't know, man, like 22 years. I kid you not. I think almost 23 years. And I read this book 5, 10, 20 times. I referred this book to, I had a guy who was, he was a colleague of mine, and he had a double master's, and he read that book, and he went out of his way to find me to say that book fucking changed my entire life. He was so grateful. I think it was in 2000. Yeah, I think it was 2001 or 2002. and it just blew him away. I shared this book with like, I don't know, 40, 50 people, and none of them said this was a waste. It was a wasted read. All of them went through it. So this is a book that you want to dedicate to yourself, and you want to keep that by your bedside. There's certain books in life that you need to consider the Bible for the soul. Once you've mastered this book, I would suggest that you get The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer. That would be the next book I would suggest. And that book, you might want to read it on Audible. But what we could do is start meeting, on the daily, unless I have clients, right, at night, and start reading The Untethered Soul after we're done with this one. Okay? Any questions or comments? I love it. Cool. Yes. I'm so excited. What a fun... I'm so glad we kind of gathered a little book club going on. All right, my loves. Any last comments or questions before I let you go? Thank you, Polly. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I'm so glad. Makes me really happy. What Sanskrit mantras would you also recommend? Well, there's a couple. There's Om Namah Shivaya to destroy blocks, Chris. And there's Om, this is for love. It's Om Parama Prima Rupaya Namaha, which is, again, you can look him up on my profile. But you'll see mushrooms for Om Namah Shivaya. It will destroy blocks. I'm going to tell you a quick story. So I had been denied, I was trying to buy a house in California, right? You guys know that. And I had been approved here and there, but the amount I was approved for was bullshit. So then I started looking at New York. I was looking at New Mexico. I was looking at all kinds of places because I have a portable. Yeah, I'm portable. I can go anywhere. So I looked at New York because me and my twin had lived here, and we had some really fun times here, upstate New York. So I had been talking to a mortgage person who fucked me, wasted my time, ran my credit, you can imagine, and then finally said, well, we need you to pay off your carp. And I was like, you know what, So I was pissed off, okay? So I started chanting Om Namah Shivaya. I chanted it for all day, vacuuming all day, Om Namah Shivaya. I was just like, I can't be angry. I got to relax. I got to trust in the universe. It will lead me to where I need to go. So in the morning, I woke up going, wait, hang on. There's this mortgage kid. He's a mortgage banker. He was a kid, right? He's 29. And I went, fuck, where's his phone number? Where the hell did I put that? So I looked. I was able to find the phone number, called him up, and within 12 hours, I'd been approved to a level of money that would get me a house. And that was the beginning of the journey of coming up here and getting this house. But that Om Namah Shivaya, I give full credit to that chant that got me to clear the energy of massive negativity, disappointment, anger, despair, not fear, but despair. And it gave me, in the morning, it gave me clarity of mind to go, wait, hang on, that guy. So, and boom, 12 hours later, I was approved. Okay, so I all I can tell you is that these chants, these mantras work very similar to you get in the car, you put in your key, and it works. You're not a mechanic. If it didn't work, you wouldn't know what to do. If it works, you don't know why it works. So it's just the same premise. We don't know why it works, but it works. And it works really well. And so that's why I'm not such a fan of affirmations, because the average person is going to fuck up the affirmation. They're going to say, I'm not going to mess this up as an affirmation. Instead, I'm not kidding. I've taught this with clients. They've come back to me with affirmations instead of the mantras I told them to learn. And the thing was either future tense instead of present tense, for one, or it had I'm not going to mess this up. I'm a success. It's like, no. So with mantras, you know for a fact that you can't mess it up. Just learn it, and you'll be good as gold. So I think I'm going to do, at some point, I think tomorrow if I can, I'm going to do the mantra for Lakshmi, for money. I've been doing it for years. It works. And I need to be honest with you, I need to do it every day for the rest of my life. But I also want to feel love in my life. So Aham Prema is a really good one. And I'll start doing mantras to record so you guys can hear it, and then you'll see it spelled out. And I think that's going to help. So you've got the Om Prama Parama, Om Parama Prima Rupaya Namaha. That's for love. And then you have the Shiva to destroy blocks. And I think I had another mantra, but I forgot it. It's somewhere there. But those two you'll see. Okay? And then I'll start bringing up some mantras. I think it's a good idea. Okay, good. Okay? All right, beautiful. So I'm going to go, and you guys can look at the videos that I'm going to create. I'm not going to type them. Nope, I'm tired. I'm sorry. I read 5 chapters. I'm done. But I will do the videos, and they will all start being uploaded for you guys to download it onto your phones and start learning them, and it becoming part of your new life patterns, your new behaviors, and we'll go from there, okay? All right, my loves. Sending you much love on your journey. Namaste. Be well. Take care.